I'd like to read a little of the introduction for my Finding Daisy from the Deep South to the Promised Land book that was released in 2019. Write our stories! Write our stories now! My spirited ancestors began hounding me day and night in 2016. Our accomplished 83-year-old family historian, M. Lavada Williams, had stepped down from the position she held for 30 years. I was the sole person in my mother's and father's family lines who accepted the challenge to assume responsibility for leaving a published legacy of our African American presence in America. With each tick-tock of the clock during my 60th year of life, I developed a visceral need, a hunger to complete this task, one book at a time. The ultimate goal would be to publish family history books that would be referenced and available in the Library of Congress, as well as research libraries and historical societies in the cities and states where my ancestors lived. I wanted to make a significant contribution, imprinting our Afrocentric stories on the American historical record. As an old African proverb maintains, "Speak my name, and I shall live on forever." The genealogy bug initially hit me hard in 1976. A white-skinned elder co-worker at the California Highway Patrol, who I could tell was African American, asked about my European lineage. "What are you talking about?" I responded as politely as possible, knowing both of us could see the truth in the mirror. I had long disavowed any genetic connection with Caucasians because it suggested our enslaved female ancestors were forced into relations with their white masters to produce children who looked like me. But lo and behold, after taking the first of 3 DNA tests in 2012, I learned that let's just say quite a bit of my ancestral blood did not come from Mother Africa. Who were those people whose pale fingers left an imprint on my heritage? For 40 years I searched for our roots ineffectively because I didn't know how or was unable to follow recommended genealogy protocols, such as listening to stories from the elders, there were only a few, researching the slave master's family, I didn't know their names, and visiting the land of our ancestors. I didn't know who they were pre-1900, etc. Roadblocks abounded, but the ancestors wanted their stories told. They would not let me sleep, so I had to figure it out. It wasn't until October 1st, 2016 that my ancestral itch could be scratched after listening to a webinar from writing coach Anita Henderson. She told me 2 things that got me on the fast track to writing a book of family stories. First, she urged, now you'll have to get the book to hear the rest of this part of the story.